Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the all-new Lucid Air. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with this Lucid Air. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below, where this one is available for sale right now if you're interested, and theirs is actually very reasonable considering the current market value on the cars. So definitely check them out, and that's one of the benefits of shopping with the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington is they are a one-price store. And so yeah, with that being said, let's get right into the review. So starting things off with this Lucid Air Grand Touring, let's go over some performance figures. We have a dual electric motor setup. Total system output is 816 horsepower with the range being 516 miles. Now you guys can see with the key fob here for the Grand Touring, it's very interesting with the overall shape, and basically it lets you know like how many taps you have to make on the back of the key fob, on the front of the key fob, if that makes sense, to like do different functions with it, like opening up the frunk, for example. And of course we got to have all of our regular warnings. Although it says Air there, it's pretty cool, just like a little stylistic touch. I love the font that they use on the Lucid Air. And notice there you've got the little button that'll actually shut the frunk, which is pretty cool. Now something that is really cool about the Lucid Air is actually the whole like light show thing that they have with the car, so you guys can kind of see how it all turns on. It is just super unique looking, and it definitely gives it the car just like a very futuristic kind of appearance. And look at the logo, how that all illuminates. Really cool overall. And then notice with the body lines, there's not a ton of them, but pretty sharp and distinctive. And yeah, I've got the whole like giant light bar set up. And again, it really looks like a car that you'd see in some sort of like futuristic movie. It's crazy that this is something that you can actually just like buy. It's just mind-blowing in terms of like the aesthetics. It looks like, again, like I don't know, like that car or that movie I, Robot. It kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, something from that movie like you'd think that you'd see. Anyways, notice here with the wheel design, this is where things are a little bit more, I guess, normal basically. So you can see there with the trim piece all along the side. The wheels are mostly closed off for aerodynamic purposes. And notice here with the trim around the windows, I actually really like the contrast with this particular car. Whoever spec'd this out I think did a really good job with just, again, the coloration and everything on this. And tires aren't like crazy wide. And that's the thing with electric cars I've noticed is they typically don't have like super wide tires, and that actually helps with getting a little bit more range. And look at like the roof, kind of like that, you know, two-tone design. It looks really cool, actually. It reminds me of what people thought things from the future were going to look like back in like the 1950s and 40s, basically. That's kind of like, I don't know, it has that kind of like futuristic retro appearance to it. And then the taillights, again, do that really cool light dance. Look at that. It's definitely like, this car has like a sense of occasion to it. That is for sure. Again, super, super unique. Now, in terms of the functionality there with the trunk area, I wonder if I just didn't... Yeah, I think I didn't press it right. First off, it opens up really weird. Like, the whole thing comes apart. And, of course, Mercedes-Benz of Farmington with their vacuum lines. Always on point. They're like the only dealership that I film for that does that, which I think it's kind of cool. But... yeah, tons of storage space back there. And again, the opening's very weird. It's kind of like a clamshell appearance. As you can see, again, never seen anything quite like that before. But I mean, that adds to the practicality because you have a larger opening, so it's easier to access. Love it says Air there on the side. Door handles are shaped the way they are, again, for aerodynamic efficiency. Notice they've got a sunshade there on the back. Now, they've kind of taken like a Tesla approach to the door panels from an interior perspective. So again, super minimalist. There's not like a lot happening on them, but material use is very nice. So that's definitely a good thing. I think a lot of automakers have kind of learned that with EVs, you can't skimp out on material use like what Tesla's done. You have to have top-notch materials, and that's what the Lucid has done. That's what I've noticed with this car is it definitely feels a lot more upscale compared to you know, Tesla. Like I've been in the Model S Plaid, like I've been in like 2 or 3 of them now, and this definitely felt like fit and finish looked a lot better, but it also just felt like a lot more upscale. And notice how the rear passengers have like their own screen for their own climate controls and everything, and then the seats as well. It's just, again, you know, some nice luxury features, but again, you kind of also expect it at the price point that this car is at. I believe this package, before any sort of options are added, I think it's stickers for somewhere in like the 130s, almost $140,000, something pretty high price. Again, before any options are added to it. But tons of room back there. That was something that was also awesome. It's way more room than like a Tesla Model S. I also noticed that. Soft closed doors, which is pretty cool. Definitely fun. I kind of played with the door handle to see how it worked. It was kind of, you have to like, I probably didn't tap it properly. Now this thing I thought was interesting is like the back was like no Alcantara, but then here on the front door panel there is. So I thought that was kind of interesting how they have like a differentiation with materials front to back. It's, yeah, just different, I suppose. Again, the coloration looks great. What I was thinking is this reminds me of like an Airstream, those Airstream trailers. That's kind of like that, again, like futuristic, you know, like again, modern retro type theme and everything. But then again, really high quality too. It kind of has that same feel to it when I was in the car. But actually popping inside of the Lucid, two-spoke design with the steering wheel, which I think actually looks really good. They made it work. And I love how just every EV automaker is doing this thing with the steering wheel controls where they just do multiple different things. But it's cool that you've got like the cruise control and stuff there on the steering wheel, which helps out. And then you got regular stocks as well. And just like Tesla, column shifter. It seems like that's kind of the thing that EV automakers are doing, is column shifter to free up space. And this is cool, similar like the new Cadillac Escalade, actually. You've got like this massive screen interface that goes across, and it's a touchscreen on the one side. And notice it's got your controls for like your lights, for example, which is pretty cool. Now this section right here is not a touchscreen, it's just the gauge cluster. I'm glad that it has it. The only Tesla that has a gauge cluster is like the Plaids, I believe, the Model S Plaid and the Model X Plaid. Everything else is all on their like center screen, which is a mistake. So Lucid obviously learned from Tesla's mistake and didn't do that. And then look at the camera system, really good resolution actually, and everything just makes sense. And you've got like, yeah, two different screens for the camera system. Yeah, I remember when I was filming this, I was like, that's so strange. But yeah, full 360 view. If you guys are wondering why that is blacked out, I showed you guys because the door is open. But yeah, resolution is really good. That was one thing that Rivian kind of made a mistake with, is the resolution on their screens wasn't as good. So I'm glad that Lucid kind of, it seems like they just have everything figured out with this car. And overall, the screen system was really easy to use. Response time was great. That was something I was also surprised with. I was kind of worried that it wouldn't be. But again, everything's like super self-explanatory, which I was really surprised with. Because again, it's their first car. So you'd think that there'd be more quirks, but they definitely, they did a really good job, I think, actually. Got all the seat adjustments too on the screen. Again, just tons of stuff. Now, because the screen's easy to use and responsive, I'm actually not going to complain about it too much. And I thought this was pretty cool. You can change the whole theme. And so it's not just for the screen, it's for like the whole screen system. So you can see, changes the whole theme, which again is, I don't know, it's kind of cool, unique touch. So you can be like, you know what, today's a solitude day. Notice this one's not fully charged, so you can see still, that's crazy, over 300 miles on not a full charge. I don't know how they get the range. That's just, massive battery obviously, but it's cool. But yeah, notice a bunch of functionality just like other EVs built into the screen. And we've got normal stuff like cup holders, right? We've got a center console as well. Not as, it's got like different compartments, but it's not huge, but it's still very practical. And material use, again, all over, I'd say, is pretty nice. And then notice there with the material use on the dash, I feel like they did a good job with the design. Definitely a darker interior, that is for sure. But I think they did a pretty good job with the design, and pretty much everything that you look at and touch, just has like a premium feel to it. Oh, I thought this was cool too. Look at the screen. You can boom, get more storage space. So I guess that my whole thing about the center console is kind of invalid. I forgot about that. And, but yeah, the screen, you can actually do that. It's so interesting. Now, I couldn't figure out with the glove box situation. I don't think it has a glove box because I couldn't find anything on the screen to open it up, and it doesn't look like it was cut out to have a glove box basically. Now what you'll notice up here is that you've got the sun visor just attached to glass, which is a strange futuristic feel to it. I know the Tesla Model X has long glass, but this has the little stripe there in the center, light strip, just like the Bugatti Chiron. Pretty cool to mimic that. And Yeah, I mean, overall, I think that Lucid nailed it. I'm not a huge EV fan personally, but I'd have to say, again, this is a very expensive car, but fit and finish was fantastic. Everything made sense. Everything was easy to use. It basically looks like Lucid just like took notes from all the other EV automakers, the stuff they're doing wrong, and they fixed it with this car. And so if I were to buy an EV car, I think it would actually be the Lucid. So let me know what you guys think.